The season hasn't really started well for either of these two. Birmingham City and Aston Villa have only been able to muster one Premiership win each so far. The cold hard facts after yesterday's game in the Barclays English Premier League are that there are the bottom three, and then there are Aston Villa and Birmingham. Both have 6 points to show from a possible 24 so far this season, and both know that this is a fixture that can provide the boost to really kick-start their seasons. Alongside me this afternoon is the former Birmingham City player and manager Trevor Francis, and few people, Trevor, outside Birmingham understand exactly what this fixture means to the fans.
Now, there are various derbies around the area, such as Blues against West Brom, Blues against Wolves, but this is the derby. This is the one that all the fans wait for when the fixtures come out at the start of the season. In recent games, Birmingham have certainly got the better over Aston Villa. Neither of them have made a particularly good start, as you mentioned. And obviously Aston Villa coming here today would love to win this derby, but their recent away record has been particularly poor. So I think for Villa to come away with a point today, that will be regarded as a very, very good result.
Well, of the 6 meetings between these two sides since Birmingham came back to the Premier League, Aston Villa have a big 0 in the win column. Well, with Kenny Cunningham and Nicky Butt suspended and Mario Melchiot still injured, options are limited for Steve Bruce, so he sticks with 10 of the 11 who came so close against Arsenal a fortnight ago. Martin Taylor comes in for Cunningham in the only change, but there is one name among the substitutes to warm the hearts of the Birmingham City faithful. David Dunn is back in the first team frame after a 10-month injury nightmare. Villa's injury problems have eased a little bit over the international break. Aaron Hughes, Kevin Phillips and Liam Ridgewell are all past fit to start, as is Thomas Sorensen. He's overcome a hamstring problem he picked up on international duty with Denmark. There's a first Premiership start for Bakke following his move from Leeds, as David O'Leary makes 3 changes from the Middlesbrough defeat. Well, so many players away on international duty, but this man was not one of them. Emil Heskey has a point to prove, says his manager Steve Bruce. He still feels he can force his way into Sven-Göran Eriksson's thinking for the World Cup in Germany next summer. It was he, of course, who opened the scoring in the corresponding fixture here last season, but he had a little help from Thomas Sorensen, as did Clinton Morrison away at Villa Park. It's a big afternoon for Thomas Sorensen. Mistakes from the Big Dane basically gifted 6 points to Birmingham City last season. Mike Taylor has been in fantastic form, had real heroics at Highbury in Birmingham City's last outing, but was beaten by a cruel deflection. He's back in goal today, and back from international duty where he chalked up his 50th cap for Northern Ireland. Only he and the great Pat Jennings have now passed the 50 mark. David O'Leary still looking for his first win in this fixture. 2 draws in his first season in charge at Aston Villa, 2 defeats last season. Although he has guided Villa to superior finishes over Steve Bruce's Birmingham City, it's the individual bragging rights from these games which prove so sweet to the fans, and Steve Bruce has certainly been able to provide those for the Birmingham City faithful. Sunshine over England's second city this lunchtime. And here begins the 103rd league meeting between Birmingham City and Aston Villa. It's been 111 years since the first, 7 months since the last, but you have to go back 18 years for the last time that Aston Villa tasted the sweet scent of victory against their local and most deadly of rivals. Barry looks for the flick on for Aston Villa. It's back with Ulf Mellberg. You may remember last season that his comments before this fixture really inflamed Birmingham City and were certainly attributed to the performance that Birmingham put in to come away with the wins.
Just a word about where the two teams have lined up, both in similar styles, 4-4-2. There's plenty of width offered by both teams. Birmingham have natural wingers in Pennant and Julian Gray. Villa, James Milner on the right hand side, so plenty of width for both teams.
Here's Davis, who's in wonderful form in midfield and indeed in front of goal. He's got 4 goals in his last 5 appearances, got his first for Northern Ireland on international duty. This is Eric Bakke, his first Premiership start since his move from Leeds United after long injury problems which stretch back way into the past. Well as local bragging rights, it's a vitally important fixture. If you need a demonstration of the impetus that a win in one of these games can give a club, if you look back to the first meeting of these two last season, which came in December, before the win at Villa Park, Birmingham City had won just 1 game in 11, and that win proved to be the first in a run of 4 on the bounce, which carried them to their highest league position of the season. A chance for Emil Heskey to steal forward. Space is quickly closed down by the Aston Villa captain Olaf Mellberg. Both teams still with notable absentees, particularly up front. Milan Baros misses out on his chance to sample the second City derby atmosphere. He did play for the Czech Republic, but is not figured for Aston Villa here this afternoon. Mikael Forssell for Birmingham City, only fit enough for a place on the bench. Steve Bruce very unhappy with the treatment he got from the Finnish coach, Antti Murinen. He thought he had an understanding, but Forssell was played for 100 minutes over 2 games, even though Finland didn't stand any hope of qualifying for the World Cup. So Forssell looks on from the bench as Heskey is penalised, and it's a Villa free kick.
Well, there's plenty of atmosphere prior to the kick-off, but it's been a very quiet start. First free kick of the game, and Mellberg's taken a nasty whack to his leg. The challenge from Emil Heskey. Graham Poll not happy with it.
Well, on a fixture such as this, when there are 2 sides who aren't in the best of form, it's always interesting to see the approach at the start. Is it going to be a positive one which goes for the win, or does the fear of losing and conceding the first goal have some sort of bearing on the display? Sorensen's free kick, helped on by Barry. Here's Olivier Tebily and Kevin Phillips. Barry again, he's got his cross away by Jamie Clapham. Now Julian Gray, who scored the second decisive goal in the closing minutes for Birmingham here last season. Free kick is given away. How costly will this prove for Birmingham? Slid through for Kevin Phillips. Well defended. Martin Taylor gets it away, but the danger not clear yet. Helped on by Barry. A little bit of panic at the back for Birmingham City. Clapham just able to prevent the corner kick.
Well, that's the first scare of the game, and Aston Villa almost took the lead. It all came from a sloppy free kick from Clapham. Carelessly gave possession away, and Villa almost made him pay for it.
Clapham with the throw now up to Emil Heskey. Now Davis. Space for Bouma to come forward. The Dutch international has Barry in support. Looks infield for Luke Moore. Good steal by Damian Johnson. Now Pennant provides the movement up front, shoulder to shoulder with Bouma. Jermaine Pennant looking for Pandiani. His touch though can be cleared away by Villa. It's the first Premiership taste of action for Martin Taylor this season. A signing from Blackburn Rovers. Kenny Cunningham doesn't miss games. He has to go back to August of 2004 for the last time that the Republic of Ireland international wasn't at the heart of the Birmingham defence, but Upson and Martin Taylor will need to be on their mettle now as Milner prepares to provide the delivery here from this free kick for Aston Villa. Curving ball in by Milner, well down by Upson. Bakke to take the throw. And he decides to leave it for Aaron Hughes. Now Phillips. And Mellberg. Aaron Hughes. A chase for Luke Moore. Well, blocked away by Taylor, who's certainly been kept busy in the opening stages.
Some of Villa's approach work in the opening minutes of this game has been good. They have to go to feet. They don't have a lot of aerial strength up front in Phillips and Moore. Anything played long, Upson and Martin Taylor will dominate in the air, but a lot of the passes have been into feet.
Villa's first corner, taken by Gareth Barry. Taylor's come a long way and not got a truly telling touch. Falls to Pennant to try and clear the danger. Goal kick. Jermaine Pennant's first taste of this particular fixture. And he's tasted every single fixture that Birmingham have had a complete fixture in the side. The bragging rights in this city have had blue ribbons on them ever since the return of the blue side to the top table 3 seasons ago now. Here's Clapham. Pandiani. Now Pennant. Both Barry and Bouma providing the barrier, so it's back for Tebily.
Well, you feel that Gareth Barry has a job to do there, just doubling up against Pennant. I think that's where the threat may come from. Bouma won't know too much about Pennant, new to the English game, taking a little time to settle in. He'll certainly need the assistance of Gareth Barry in front of him.
Tebily now, into the feet of Pandiani. His first touch showed too much to Barry. Well, after a slow, slightly tentative start, the game continues to pick up pace. Here's Gray. Well, last year saw Birmingham do the league double over Villa for the second time in 3 seasons. A 2-1 win away, added to by a 2-0 win here at St Andrews. And Birmingham, in fact, have recorded more Premiership wins against Aston Villa than they have against any other club. Tebily neatly beyond Barry. It's opened up for him here, but it's closed down very well by the hard-working Davis. Up against Pennant. Pennant's cross, it's a good one. Heskey glances, wide by Gray. What an opening, delivered deliciously by Pennant, but Gray couldn't provide the finish.
Well, I spoke about the threat from Pennant, and here you see it. Easily gets away from Davis, delivers a great ball into the near post. Heskey with a flick on. Julian Gray, he has time at the back post to actually steady himself, have another touch. He elects to hit it on the half volley and drives his shot past Tom and Sorensen's far post. First opening to Birmingham, and it was a good chance to Julian Gray.
Julian Gray, the former Crystal Palace and Arsenal player, so close to getting on the delivery from another former Arsenal player, Jermaine Pennant. That's the best chance we've had inside the first 10 minutes. Luke Moore and Kevin Phillips, the striking partnership this afternoon for Aston Villa. Juan Pablo Angel among the substitutes. He was away on international duty to no avail, really. He was playing for Colombia and they failed to make the playoff against Australia, which was secured by Uruguay. Didn't get back till Friday evening from his trip to South America, and although he trained yesterday, was rated as not fit enough to take part this afternoon.
Could the owner of a Mercedes registration KW53RNF, the Mercedes KW53RNF, please return to your vehicle.
Bouma, who's had quite a torrid introduction to Premiership football since his move from PSV Eindhoven. Away by Taylor. Bakke underneath it. And so too for Birmingham City with Stephen Clemence. Signed a new long-term contract with the club this week. Maik Taylor, it's his 5th taste of this particular derby fixture. And like every single player in this Birmingham City side, he has yet to know what it feels like to taste defeat to their local rivals.
This is where we'll have a bit of a problem, Bill. When they go long, there's very little height in the forward areas. They're looking to try and angle the ball as often as they can onto Gareth Barry. He's up against Tebily, who's particularly strong in the air. But if they go central, then Taylor and Upson would dominate most balls.
Case in point as Taylor clears. As far as Bakke. Davis for Bouma. Blocked away by Johnson. He saw red on international duty for Northern Ireland against Austria. A clash with Middlesbrough's Emmanuel Pogatetz. A chase for Heskey up against Ridgewell. Well, Ridgewell certainly seemed to run across him there and block him off. Steve Bruce very animated on the touchline, and no surprise to see the first yellow card of this derby.
Well, quite simply, Ridgewell missed the flight of the ball, and he realised that Heskey's extra pace was going to get the better of him. So he runs across Heskey, blocking his path. It's a blatant obstruction. I think that Mellberg, his central defensive partner, would probably have come across on the cover, but he wasn't aware of that. So he elected to take the free kick and also a yellow card.
Pennant with the free kick. It's an inviting delivery. Well away by Sorensen. Clemence, pressured by Milner. It's the England under-21 international who comes away with it. That's just run out of play by James Milner.
Once again, it was the free kick from Pennant from a wide area that caused the problem to Aston Villa, but it was good, confident keeping from Thomas Sorensen. Did the correct thing. He couldn't possibly catch the ball amongst so many bodies, and it was a good, strong, two-fisted punch.
On by Barry. Kevin Phillips helps it on, and a play by Johnson. Well, Steve Bruce feels that the performances that Birmingham have been putting in haven't been reflected by the results that they've been getting recently. They are without a win in 4 Premiership games, losing 2 of those, including last time out against Arsenal when they came so close to getting a point. Bouma just able to keep it in, but Pennant has intercepted for Birmingham. On by Bouma, here's Kevin Phillips. Given away straight to Julian Gray. Now Clapham. Very nearly pressured into a mistake. Well, with Liam Ridgewell getting that booking so early on in the game, he's walking a disciplinary tightrope. Villa can't afford any slips at the back.
It's interesting that Heskey has put himself onto Ridgewell at every possible opportunity. I think he realises that he's on the yellow card, and he's going to certainly play on that situation.
Pennant now, can he provide another of those excellent deliveries? It's Tebily this time, and away by Eric Bakke. Well, Ridgewell has been employed as a centre-half. He's Spent much of his career as a full-back at Aston Villa and indeed for England's under-21s. But in the injury to Martin Laursen, desperate times have called for him to be employed in that particular position. And indeed for England's under-21s. But in the injury to Martin Laursen, desperate times have called for him to be employed in that particular position. Laursen, of course, ruled out for the whole season pretty much for Aston Villa. Away by Mellberg. Ridgewell's header, straight down the throat of Upson. Heskey now to Pandiani. A return ball returns possession to the visitors. Well, Clemence's challenge is penalised by Graham Poll. Just a talking to no more for the son of the England goalkeeping coach. It'll be a left-footed delivery from Gareth Barry. Luke Moore, who has 2 goals in his last 2 games, among the Villa contingent in the penalty area. But it's straight at Mike Taylor, and this could provide a platform for Pennant to burst forward. What a lovely ball into the path of Johnson. And Johnson just pulled back at Milner, who was tracking back with him.
I think you saw there the importance of midfield player tracking another midfield player. It was an excellent forward run from Damian Johnson, well picked out from Pennant. And there you see Milner coming from a wide position, tracked Johnson all the way. And a little ankle tap from Johnson as he lost possession of the ball. Relieves the pressure for Aston Villa.
Taylor, his height advantage is proving a difficult barrier for Aston Villa from the long balls early on. Here's a healthy 6'4". Here's Pennant's cross. This time it's too close to Thomas Sorensen. Well, there is an extraordinary history of goalkeeping errors in this fixture. It all started off in the first derby since Birmingham returned. That was back in September of 2002. Peter Enkelman, who from a throw-in missed the ball completely, and to the delight of the Birmingham faithful, it rolled into his net. He was voted the Birmingham City Player of the Year that season, even though he was a Villa player. Also an error as Birmingham completed the double in the corresponding fixture at Villa Park. Another 2 errors by Thomas Sorensen last season. The spotlight very much on keepers this afternoon as Phillips fires and scores! Kevin Phillips gets his 2nd goal for Aston Villa, and Villa have the lead in the derby.
Well, I'd already spoken about Villa's approach work, not too much aerially, everything into feet, and this was another example of good short passing and a clinical finish from Kevin Phillips. I think Taylor would be possibly disappointed having got a hand to it. It wasn't a strong enough hand. Phillips with his left foot, Taylor's there, he tries to push it around the post, but the pace and the power of the shot takes it into the corner. Lovely little flick this by Gareth Barry into the path of Kevin Phillips. Great strike with his left foot, gives Villa the lead.
Birmingham look for an immediate response. Pandiani, Tebily. He's got his cross away, touched behind by Sorensen.
What an excellent cross that was from Tebily. He's not particularly noted for his forward play, but from the byline, he really does do well. A difficult cross, Sorensen has to tip it over the crossbar, but a brilliant bit of forward play from Tebily and a great cross.
Now Birmingham do have some tall players. They have aerial advantage if Pennant can pick out the delivery. Brave header away by Bouma. Pennant will settle for the throw. Played in for Johnson now. Moore ushers it out. It will be a Villa goal kick. Well, it was always likely that Kevin Phillips might have something to say this afternoon. He's scored in derby games for Sunderland against Newcastle, against Middlesbrough as well when he was in the red and white of Sunderland. He's also scored for Southampton against Portsmouth. Now he can say he has scored for Aston Villa against Birmingham City. He's been coming in for extra training sessions during the international break to try and get fit for this game, and it's paid off for David O'Leary. Here's Julian Gray, who had a wonderful chance earlier on in this contest. Clemence, denied by Milner, and it's cleared away powerfully by Bakke. The question now for Aston Villa is, can they get a second, and can they keep Birmingham at bay? Thomas Sorensen, just one clean sheet in 8 games so far in all competitions this season. He has conceded 17 goals, including 3 last time out at home to Middlesbrough. An up and under from Olaf Mellberg. Can be awkward with bright sunshine over England's second city this lunchtime. Away by Tebily. Heskey looking for the flick into the path of Pandiani. Taylor again. He's winning everything in the air against Luke Moore and Kevin Phillips. Barry battles back for Villa. Bouma in space. Has Luke Moore alongside him, slid in for Kevin Phillips, who tried the layoff. The flag was up anyway, so anything that had been created wouldn't have counted, but Phillips looks sharp.
Once again, you see Bouma on the left-hand side. He looks up, controls the ball, and then it's into feet again. You're not going to see too many crosses put in head height, because Villa are fully aware they don't have that extra height in forward areas. I think Birmingham need to get back quickly on level terms, otherwise, you know, Bill, their home record has been particularly poor this season. I think it's 3 defeats and just the 1 draw. That was against Liverpool here. So the longer it goes and stays at 1-0, so psychologically it starts to play on your mind.
Emil Heskey appeals to Graham Poll in vain. It will be an Aston Villa free kick just past the halfway point of this first half. And David O'Leary will be delighted at the way that his side have started here. It was they who launched the first salvo of attacks. They haven't come here to sit back and try and get the point. They've come here to stop the rot, get the win, and end Birmingham's domination of this fixture. Mellberg seeking Milner. Clapham's touch for Matthew Upson. On by Aaron Hughes. Barry now. No foul by Tebily. Pennant back to get the touch forward. Chased down by Davis and Tebily. Sorensen out quickly to deny Heskey. Heskey wasn't happy with the challenge of Sorensen. Well, the keeper had every right to go for the ball, but did he do more than that?
Well, Heskey's making a little bit too much of it, isn't he? He's having a word with Sorensen. I just think it was Sorensen's momentum that took him into Heskey. I don't think there was anything intentional there.
Gareth Barry, surely nothing intentional there as he looked to get beyond Jermaine Pennant. I think he did catch Pennant with a flailing arm straight in front of the dugouts, but no complaints from either bench. Well, this isn't a position that he's particularly used to being in this particular fixture, Steve Bruce, or any particular derby. Never lost as a Manchester United player against Manchester City in 13 matches during his time at Old Trafford. Clapham, Julian Gray, Taylor. Tebily leaves it for Pennant. Amazing wide. Tebily, Pandiani waits in the centre. Rather half-hearted ball by Tebily, who provided such a wonderful cross a few moments ago. Barry. A little bit of luck as it's deflected through to Kevin Phillips. The goal scorer sweeps it out for Milner. Luke Moore awaits in the centre. There'll be a corner for Villa. They always say you're vulnerable after going ahead, and Villa have ridden that particular spell. And now they are forward looking for a second. It'll be Barry to take the corner. Well punched away by Mike Taylor. Hughes. Barry again, on for Milner. Another corner kick. Mellberg and Ridgewell making the move inside the penalty area. Ridgewell got the touch, but it sailed over behind into the Birmingham fans.
Yes, Ridgewell makes a good run. He gets away from his marker, gets to the near post. But you're quite right, can get no direction with a header. It's not a problem for Birmingham to defend.
A bit of an examination now for Birmingham City, who are in the midst of their worst start to the league for 17 years. Here's Pandiani. Well, he looked like he had an opportunity to hit it earlier, and when he did, it was a little bit tame.
Once again, the threat of Heskey's there. He caused the problem. Mellberg can get a clean header. It fell to Pandiani. Flicks it in behind. And just when you thought he was going to unleash a left foot volley, with the power that we know he can hit balls with, he actually scuffed it, and it was a tame effort.
Heskey, did that come off his arm? No, says Graham Pole. It's into the path of Johnson. Great tracking back. That was Davis who turned it behind for a corner, just as Johnson was sizing up his shot.
I think that's handball, and Heskey gets away with it. Gets good support from Johnson. It goes past his front man, but Davis, in the nick of time, good tracking back.
Pennant's corner, away by Barry. There's a real determination and commitment about this Villa performance in this first half. Away by Bouma. Here's Tebily for Pennant. Tebily again. He was looking for Heskey, but it was nowhere near. Well, already this year, Manchester City, Middlesbrough and Charlton have all left St Andrews with 3 points. On by Clemence. There's still plenty of time for Birmingham to ensure that Aston Villa don't add themselves to that list. Well, Mellberg is going to get a talking to at the very least here. Remember that Ridgewell has already been booked, and the other Villa centre-half joins him.
Well, Mellberg and Bakke got themselves in a right mess. They're trying to dispossess Pandiani. Both of them go to ground. Pandiani trips over. Clemence takes possession, and then a trip from behind by Mellberg, quite deliberate, and a correct decision from Graham Pole.
Upson's free kick, looking for Heskey, powerfully away by Mellberg. Helped on by Moore. Hughes for Milner. Gray trying to get back at him. Aaron Hughes. The height of Julian Gray. Paid dividends for him there. Good turn by Davis, trying to get away from Pandiani, picked up by Phillips. Strongly in was Johnson. Now Barry coming away from it, no foul. Barry allowed to come forward, Moore waiting in the middle. It's away for a corner, good defending by Matthew Upson.
Well, Birmingham aren't happy with the decision, or the lack of a decision. Pennant thought that he was fouled. I think Gareth Barry was just a little bit physically too strong for him. And it's a good ball into the box, asking questions of Birmingham, and Matthew Upson just gets there to deny Luke Moore.
Aston Villa are on top. They have another corner kick. This time it's Milner to fire in. Away by Tebily. Hughes back out for Milner. Now Bouma, beyond Pandiani, and time to get a really inviting cross in. It was Ridgewell who was closest to it.
Once again an intelligent ball this from Bouma. Easily goes past the Birmingham player and then curls it in with pace in behind the back four. And very nearly Ridgewell got on the end of it.
Taylor, pressurised by Moore. Well, it hasn't been a game so far in the opening 32 minutes or so, but an enormous amount of chances. Julian Gray had that one first up for Birmingham City, and Phillips made his count for Villa.
Just looking at the Birmingham back four, there's been one or two changes and they just look a little bit nervy at times. Taylor's come into the heart of the defence in place of Cunningham. Tebily, not the recognised right back. Mellberg would have played if he was fit. And between them they've made a tentative sort of start. But that's in keeping with Birmingham's defending throughout this campaign. They've just had the one clean sheet in the opening game against Fulham. If you think back to the previous 3 years, they've always been watertight, very difficult to break down, very few goals given away. That's not been the case this season.
Heskey, it's away by Ridgewell. Clemence first on the scene. Well, he turned into trouble. And it's Milner now who immediately looks for Moore and finds him. It's a wonderful run by Davis in field, but I don't think Moore saw him.
Well, you can see or hear the response of the Birmingham crowd. That challenge from Damian Johnson. They want to see one or two more tackles like that. A little bit more fiercely contested. That's how they expect the game to be. And at the moment, one or two Blue supporters slightly unhappy.
Early ball by Pennant. It's away by Mellberg. Milner again. And away by Hughes. Davis. Milner content to leave it and settle for the throw. Taylor's clearance. Well, you look at the two midfields and the likes of Milner, Davis and Barry seeing a lot more of the ball than the likes of Clemence, Johnson and Gray.
There appears to be an injury at the moment, Bill, to Clemence. He's gone down clutching his leg. He's a tough boy, and when he goes down, as a manager, you begin to get a little bit worried.
Well, on the bench, David Dunn, Stan Lazaridis, Jarosik. Dunn, who hasn't played since Boxing Day. Well, I don't think that maybe that he decides it is time for Dunn. There are 10 minutes left on this first half. Well, if it is Dunn, maybe he could provide the little spark that Birmingham are looking for at the moment. Dunn has come off the bench to score in this fixture before. Scored a wonder goal away at Villa Park last season, and Clemence is not going to be able to continue.
No, I was wondering whether it was a kick. If it was a kick, he probably could have got away with it, could have run it off, but that's more than a kick. I would think that's a strain in the calf area. And now the decision is Jarosik or Dunn. My guess would be Jarosik. I think it's far too early to contemplate bringing on Dunn. He's been out for so long.
Just 45 minutes of action he has had, and that was for the reserves. Southport in the week. Played against Everton. Well, wild decisions are made by Steve Bruce. Birmingham play on with just 10 men. Well, overall in this first half, Trevor, you have to say that Villa have been good value for their lead.
Yes, there's been very few chances in the game, but Villa have taken their one chance that they created, and Birmingham failed to take theirs, because we should not forget that Julian Gray could so easily have put Birmingham ahead.
Bouma. Away by Tebily now. Heskey operating deep. Now Clapham has Gray in front of him, but the way is blocked by Milner. Johnson now. Tebily. Here's Pennant. This time the free kick is awarded the way of Birmingham City. David O'Leary not enamoured. Steve Bruce is. That's the way of the derby fixture. As you suspected, Trevor, it is going to be Jarosik. I'm sure we will see something of David Dunn this afternoon, but it is too much of a tall order for him to play the whole of the second half and the remaining period of this first half. So the on loan Chelsea player, Jarosik, is introduced. Got a pretty good ratio of appearances to goals so far. A goal every other game thus far this season. How Birmingham could do with one from anywhere before half-time. Pandiani, denied by Mellberg. Milner was well read by Tebily. Now Heskey. Away by Gareth Barry. Across comes Upson. Good defending by the former Arsenal man.
I've mentioned a few times, Bill, the lack of height in this Aston Villa side, and it could prove to be a problem on set pieces. And with Jarosik coming on, it only adds to their problem, because he's very, very good in the air. Saw him at West Brom score an excellent goal with his head, and he will be a threat, but not with crosses like that.
He has provided some excellent deliveries so far this afternoon, Jermaine Pennant, but that can't go down in that particular bracket. Well, just 3 wins in their last 16 Premiership games either side of the summer break for Birmingham City. And when confidence is brittle, sometimes it can be harder to haul yourself back into a game when a goal down. Although in a fixture like this, there should be plenty of momentum that could carry Birmingham through. But it's Villa who look to come forward again through Milner. Moore is in the centre. Again, he troubled Upson, this time just a goal kick though.
That was good play from Milner. They're trying to get the ball as often as they can to him to attack Clapham. He doesn't attack him on this occasion, puts an early ball in. But once again, it's not up there amongst the clouds. It's a ball that's head high, where Moore can attack it and he actually gets himself in front of Upson, but can't quite direct it towards goal.
Heskey too much on that as he looked to pick out Pennant. Well, what will please David O'Leary equally, should Villa hold on or even improve on this scoreline, is the way that they have such a vein of youth running through this side. At the back you've got Ridgewell, who's still only 20 years old. In midfield, the teenager Davis, and up front Moore alongside Milner at the back, on the right hand side rather I should say. Here's Barry, and it's over by Moore.
Well, Gareth Barry finds himself in far too much space. I'm not quite sure where Tebily has gone here. He finds himself dragged into a midfield area. His positional play is particularly poor there, Tebily. He gets back but allows Barry to measure his cross. He shapes it in with his left foot. Once again, no great height to it. It's knee high. Luke Moore on the end of it. But it's a poor effort. I think it was slightly behind him, which made it that much more difficult for Luke Moore.
On by Upson. Ridgewell's clearance. Clapham tracks back and just waits for the ball to roll out of play. The outstretched leg of Mellberg gives Phillips something to chase. On by Moore, might come for Phillips. Flag is up for offside. Encouraging interplay by the two strikers though.
Well, Kevin Phillips was quick to recognise that Upson had made a particular mess of this header, and he's so eager to get on the end of this flick. I'm not sure that he actually was offside. I think the linesman was a little bit hasty in putting his flag up, but once again you saw the predatory instincts of Kevin Phillips. His anticipation was quicker than anyone else on the field.
Milner's clearance. Upson getting the better of Moore. Now Clapham. Here's Jarosik. Given away very cheaply. Taylor. Lovely spin by Moore, trying to get away from Taylor. Well, that's the way to get beyond him. He has the complete control of the aerial situation, but quick feet and this spin away by Moore very nearly bought him some space to close in on goal.
Yes, he sold a dummy there to Taylor, and I'm not quite sure why he checked back, because Moore he's got good pace, and he got away from Taylor and really should have run the ball into the grass. He got go side of him and then elected to come back onto his right foot, and in doing so I think he gave a favour to Martin Taylor.
In the last minute of normal time at the end of this first half, time running out for Birmingham to go in on level terms, although they have a free kick here as Bouma fells Pennant.
Well, just look how close the linesman is to the where the decision is given. He didn't raise his flag. It was Graham Poe who gave the free kick. I think he was correct, but it's a sort of free kick that I would term an unnecessary one right on the stroke of half time.
How costly will it prove? Pennant looks deep for Upson, back across the face of goal, stooping Taylor. It's Jarosik now for Birmingham. Wide for Upson, corner kick.
Well, that was particularly poor marking from Aston Villa. They've conceded so many goals this season on set pieces, and you can see why. The ball from Pennant was hit long, and there were two players at the back post, Upson and Jarosik, who were totally unmarked.
Well, we're into the 1 minute added on at the end of this first half. One corner kick for Birmingham could prove crucial. In by Pennant, away by Mellberg. Gray, Pennant. Pandiani. It's almost like he wasn't ready for it. Well, had a long time to look in the air. Heskey feeling he was impeded by Ridgewell. The net result is just a goal kick though.
Yeah, it's quite clearly Pandiani should have done better. It's a good ball in from Pennant once again hit long, not convincing defending, nobody gets a head to it, and Pandiani unmarked at the back post, but his control, I'm afraid, let him down. Not convincing defending, nobody gets a head to it, and Pandiani unmarked at the back post, but his control, I'm afraid, let him down.
Just the one goal so far this season for Walter Pandiani, and that came when he came off the bench against Liverpool here in the 2-2 draw. So far so good for Aston Villa as they look to end Birmingham's domination of this fixture, and it's one of the newcomers to this particular derby who has given them the lead. Kevin Phillips' clinical strike left Mike Taylor picking the ball out of the back of his own net and left Steve Bruce with a hill to climb in the second half to avoid the taste of defeat for the first time in the second City derby. The half-time score here at St Andrews is Birmingham City 0, Aston Villa 1. Welcome back, 1-0. The margin that Birmingham City must pull back in this second half if they are to preserve their unbeaten record in this fixture. This the 7th Premiership meetings between these two sides. 4 wins so far for Birmingham, but Kevin Phillips' goal in the first half has ensured that Villa are now within touching distance of their first win in any division against their local rivals since December 1987. Birmingham need to find a goal, and they're going to introduce Mikael Forssell, the Finnish international. And no surprise, Trevor, to see Walter Pandiani make way.
No, I thought he had a particularly disappointing first half. I think possibly Pandiani and Heskey, although they give a physical presence, they're a little bit similar in their way that they perform. I think that Forssell will certainly give them something a little bit different.
One change for Birmingham City, 1 goal required to get them back on level terms. Villa, though, will be looking to pick up where they left off and get one result that they have been craving in the top division for 22 years. That's how far back you have to go for the last Villa top flight win against Birmingham City. Phillips. Bakke. Should be comfortable enough for Clapham. Touch forward by Hughes, on by Johnson. It's 2 of the 3 changes made already by Steve Bruce. 1 enforced due to the injury to Stephen Clemence in the first half. A calf injury, we understand. And the other one tactical, bringing on Mikael Forssell to try and rediscover the goal-scoring form that he had here a couple of seasons ago. 17 league goals, the most by a Birmingham City player in the top league since one other player, Trevor, scored 25 back in 1978.
Who could that have been? Well, they certainly need a goal in this second half, and one thing in Birmingham's favour is that they are kicking towards their favourite end. That's the Tilton Road end, where there's masses of blue supporters waiting to see the opening goal from Birmingham. I was here recently against Liverpool. If my memory serves me right, that's where the 2 goals were scored, the Tilton Road end. So all is not finished as far as Birmingham are concerned. 1 goal disadvantage is a very slender lead. In a derby game where goalkeepers have made numerous errors over the past 3 seasons, you never know what's around the corner.
So far, Thomas Sorensen hasn't really been tested, though, and it's just the sort of start he would have wanted. In terms of that, Mike Taylor might feel that he could have done better with the Phillips goal. He certainly got a hand to it, but he didn't get enough to it to prevent Phillips getting his first taste of a derby goal against Birmingham City. Came back into the first team this afternoon, Kevin Phillips, after missing the previous 4 games. And it's worked out nicely. Thank you very much for the visitors so far. But here's Forssell. Jarosik. Heskey awaits in the centre. Away by Mellberg. The faithful here in a packed St Andrews just waiting for something to cheer. Every time there's half a hint of an opening, the decibel levels increase. Forssell beaten by Bakke. On by Davis. Upson away in the nick of time, but only as far as Barry. Phillips having to scamper across to get there.
Well, you just feel that Aston Villa on their counter-attack should have made more of that. Gareth Barry, the ball at his feet, played the ball slightly wide of Kevin Phillips. If he'd been more precise, then Phillips would have been in and would have had an attempt on goal.
Here he is again, Phillips, chests it into the path of Julian Gray. On by Forssell, but only for Ridgewell. Neat turn by Pennant. Now Jarosik. Collected by Mellberg. Bakke beaten by Johnson. Graham Poll took a look, waited to see if there was any advantage. None came. So here's a Birmingham free kick. Wasn't the most heralded transfer of the summer, the move from Leeds United of Eric Bakke to Aston Villa, but he could prove to be a very effective player for them if he can stay fit. Still only 28 years old. Missed, of course, the whole of last season with a knee injury. Luke Moore is the man penalised for that particular tussle. He was upset with the decision, and Graham Poll just explaining the whys and wherefores. Well, should Villa be able to hold on here for the remaining 40 minutes or so, it would provide them with their first away win of the season. They've lost 3 of 4 away from Villa Park so far. The only point they got came with a 1-1 draw at Portsmouth. Pennant looking to thread it through for Jarosik. His determination saw him just step across the line of the law, and Barry has won the free kick for Villa.
Well, I thought that may have been a foul initially, but the referee allowed play to continue. Now you see quite clearly a push from Jarosik on Gareth Barry, spotted by the assistant referee, who raises his flag and brings it to the attention of Graham Poll.
The crowd suddenly comes to life as Tebily looks for Heskey. Forssell crowded out very quickly. Well, Villa defending in very determined style, not allowing any space for any Birmingham player to settle on the ball. A glance on by Phillips, hooked away by Taylor. Mellberg beats Forssell to it. It's on by Clapham now, a chase for Heskey, but a forlorn one because Aaron Hughes got in the way. Now Barry looking over the top for Phillips. No free kick. The Birmingham faithful clearly felt there should have been one. Away by Ridgewell. Here's Jarosik. beyond Bakke. Jarosik for Birmingham City. Brave block by Ridgewell. He threw himself at that.
It was a great block because Jarosik had plenty of time. He was measuring his shot. He has scored a couple of goals this year for Birmingham, but Ridgewell did it.
Well, with Jarosik on for Clemence, they have another 6-foot-plus player to aim for with the aerial approach, and here comes another one from Clapham. Well defended by Bouma. Davis now, taken off his toes by Upson. For Pennant. Ridgewell able to steady himself and clear, only as far as Upson. Tebily rather waited for it, Barry certainly didn't. In by Upson. Great pace to the game at the moment. Now Milner. Still he's going, James Milner, just not giving up that lost cause. Pennant now for Jarosik. Heskey. Plenty of Villa players back. Birmingham trying to find a way through. But in comes Davis. The likes of Davis, Milner, Barry all snapping and snarling every time Birmingham try to settle or take too much time. Damian Johnson now. Forssell. He's found Julian Gray. Gray's cross is a little wasteful.
Yes, it's been a mixed bag, I have to say, this afternoon. The crossing from Birmingham on both sides. Julian Gray there under no real pressure. He knows he can do better than that. It's not the top of service that Emil Heskey is expecting.
Well, the goal scored this afternoon by Kevin Phillips is something of a rarity for Villa. It's only their 4th in 6 games against Birmingham City. Birmingham looking for their 12th to try and equalise it. With 10 minutes played of this second half, not too many signs of one coming just yet. Tebily pressurised by Barry. October 1983 was Villa's last top division win against Birmingham. Peter With, the man who scored the winning goal that day. Former teammate of yours, Trevor.
Yes, he had a very good career, Peter. Played with Villa and Birmingham, and also with another of my clubs, Nottingham Forest, where he had a very successful time. The odd occasion I also linked up with him for the national team England. He was what you would call the old-fashioned type of centre-forward.
And the goalkeeper for that Villa side is now the goalkeeping coach for the current one, Nigel Spink. Here's Jarosik. Can Pennant keep it in? He'll have to settle for a corner.
Well, once again, good opportunity to get the ball into the box. Pennant, he knows he should have done better, but on the credit side, Bakke did very well to get back and prevent the cross coming in.
Another Pennant corner, plenty to attack. Did Sorensen get the touch? He did. It's a corner.
There's Matthew Upson with a downward header. It comes off the floor into the air, possibly may have hit the bar or gone over, but Sorensen does the right thing, takes no chances, puts it over the bar for another corner.
Pennant can have a go from the other side, from the left. Bravely away by Luke Moore. Gray had his shirt pulled by Luke Moore. Gray will continue to go on and Moore will continue to persist. In the end, the free kick is awarded Birmingham's way.
Yes, that was good refereeing from Graham Poll, because it was definitely a foul by Luke Moore on Julian Gray. Shirt pulling, which I think if he had given the free kick would probably have resulted in a yellow card, but he allowed play to continue. But the second foul, he has given a free kick, and can Birmingham make good use of this?
Pennant goes deep, looking for Forssell, back across the face of goal. Sorensen down quickly.
Well, I mentioned it in the first half, Bill, just how can you get that much space on a free kick? Just look at Jarosik at the back post. There's nobody within 5 yards of him. Now he's 6'3", a real presence in the air, a big threat. Somebody has got to get tighter.
On a season-long loan from Chelsea with a view to a permanent move, Jarosik. Martin Taylor looking for Heskey, who was unable to get by Ridgewell. A free kick. Remember, Ridgewell has already been booked. He can't afford too many more of those sort of fouls.
You just feel at the moment that Aston Villa are starting to give away too many free kicks. Free kicks with good quality. They build pressure.
Graham Poll and around 25,000 other people marching the Villa wall back. What can Pennant produce this time? Again, there's a Villa player there first.
Yes, it was the midfield player Eric Bakke, who is particularly good in the air. And that was excellent defending.
Forward by Tebily, away by Ridgewell this time. Well, like you say, Trevor, the law of averages would suggest that if Pennant's allowed to keep getting those sort of deliveries into the penalty area, something will give, as it may do here for Heskey, just getting ready to shoot. The Birmingham fans appeal for a foul, but it has to go down as a vital interception by Bouma.
Yes, Bauma's played a lot of his football at centre half, and on this occasion he comes in from the left back position. It could have been a little bit narrower when Heskey won the initial header, but nothing wrong with a tackle just in the nick of time to deny Emil Heskey.
Did it come off the hand of Bouma? And if so, was it ball to hand or hand to ball? Well, Birmingham has certainly improved in this second half, but still unable to make the breakthrough. Well, did Bouma get away with that one, Trevor?
Well, it was Forssell with a flick. Heskey just about to let fly with his right foot. Well, it may have touched his hand, but it's not a penalty for me. I think it was a well-timed challenge on Bouma, just as Heskey was about to release a shot with his right foot.
Gareth Barry, who is down, looks like a case of cramp. Well, this win, should it stay like this, will delight Villa fans from all walks of life, from the local pubs, clubs, factories and football clubs as well. Ian Taylor, the former Villa player, is among the supporting contingent here today, currently with Northampton Town. Scored for them, in fact, on Friday night. Pennant. Well, it's a little bit panicky at the back at the moment for Aston Villa. They've got it away for a corner, but Birmingham should look to capitalise here.
Yeah, you just feel that one of these crosses from wide areas, whether it's a free kick or a corner in this instance, is going to pay dividends soon. Just look at the size of the Birmingham players in there. Tebily, Heskey, Taylor, Jarosik, Upson, they're all 6 foot plus.
Pennant to deliver. Great touch away by Gareth Barry. Jarosik trying to thread it through Gray was just sitting back on his heels there. Had he been going forward, then he might have had a better chance of getting that. It's still a throw right in the corner.
Yes, the pressure has been mounting now for the last 15-20 minutes, and it appears that Aston Villa are about to make a tactical change.
And the goal scorer is withdrawn. Kevin Phillips' strike midway through the first half. That's still the difference between the two sides. Well, David O'Leary delighted. Phillips, who hasn't really featured in the last 6 weeks or so, has certainly featured this afternoon. And I'm sure that in bringing on Juan Pablo Angel, they'll be looking for someone to hold it up front a little bit more and give them something else in the air.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. His extra height will come in more than useful. Not just attacking, but as I've mentioned, on numerous set pieces that Birmingham have been having in the second half, he will give them that extra bit of height that they desperately need.
There's movement on the Birmingham City bench. It may be the time for the return that Birmingham have waited for, and certainly David Dunn has waited for since Boxing Day, when he last featured in the Premiership against Middlesbrough. Barry looking to turn away from the attentions of Taylor, and doing so in towards Angel. Johnson just swooped in to take the ball away. On by Heskey, here's Forssell for Pennant. Ridgewell with work to do, and he's able to do it. Stood his ground, no foul. Shepherd's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good play from Ridgewell. He's on a yellow card, he has to be careful, and Pennant has to be careful too, because he's remonstrating with the assistant referee. He feels he deserved a free kick. I think it was just good play this by Ridgewell, using his extra strength just to shepherd the ball out for a goal kick.
Well, Villa will make another change before Birmingham are able to make theirs. It's Patrick Berger who is ready for action. Pennant, buffeted by Barry, and it will just trickle for a throw right in the corner. Villa want to make the change. Graham's poll has spotted that. And Gareth Barry, who has had a very, very strong afternoon for Aston Villa, will be replaced by Patrick Berger.
Substitution for Birmingham, replacing number 3, Clapham.
Birmingham taking this opportunity to make their change as well. Jamie Clapham is withdrawn, and what a reception for David Dunn. 2 years ago he came off the bench to rescue a draw for Birmingham against Aston Villa. Last season he scored the winner at Villa Park, a goal which was voted the goal of the campaign last year. What can he do on his return after 10 months out? He has about half of this second half with which to make an impact. Almost immediate as he's down for Forssell. It's done! Just tantalisingly wide. Well, what a story that would have been.
Well, it's not his first touch, but it's definitely his second touch. He gets lucky, the ball falls to him. He thinks he's going to slot it in with his left foot, but it's a great dive and save by Hughes that thwarts him.
In comes the corner, it's loose. And away for another. The pressure just ratcheted up on the Aston Villa defence. In by Pennant again. Berger gets the glance away this time. Dunn only able to flick it forward. It's away by Aaron Hughes. Angel couldn't keep it in. Gray looking for Forssell. The touch came off Mellberg. On by Hughes. Gray first on the scene. Dunn again, went for the flick. More quick feet and elegant feet by Dunn, but Gray wasn't quite on his same wavelength. Well, he's injected real excitement and talent to proceedings, hasn't he, Dunn?
Well, he's a talented player, isn't he? And what a start that could have been for him. He gets lucky here, it comes back and he thinks he's going to score with his left foot, but it's Aaron Hughes who slides in and times his challenge perfectly to deny a fairy tale start to David Dunn.
Tebily's free kick up towards Heskey. A call comes from Sorensen. Upson's header came off the back of Moore. This is Eric Bakke. He finds Milner, who in turn is able to pick out Davis, who has space to attack here. It's Davis for Angel. This could be a second. Somehow he fires over, though. What a let-off that is for Birmingham.
Well, it's surprising the amount of space that Davis finds himself in. There's no midfield player anywhere near him. He plays the right ball. Angel controls it. Just goes away from him slightly, off balance with his left foot. He would have expected to have done better.
Well, the one Pablo Angel of a couple of seasons ago probably would have done better, but he's unable to crown his 150th Villa appearance with a goal. On that occasion only. Anyway, still around 20 minutes left.
That's good play from Luke Moore. Angel just watched as Luke Moore ran 30 yards just to try and get a block in as Taylor attempted to play the ball into a forward area. It's the sort of work that any manager would like from a striker.
Now here's a bit of space for David Dunn. Dunn shot just wide.
Well, Dunn picking it up in a central area. He attacks Villa, drives it into the near post. You can see there that Sorensen's not quite sure. He's sprawled across the length of that near post and just watches it as it goes inches wide. But it was a fair effort from David Dunn. He's really made a mark already into this game. It's not that easy, you know, when you've been out for so long to come off the bench and pick up the tempo. But David Dunn's done that immediately.
It's been a frustrating 10 months and he's looking to take it out on Aston Villa. Had to have an operation on his back to cure the hamstring problem that had plagued his career ever since his move from Blackburn. Only able to make 12 appearances last season. Jarosik, a sting taken out of his shot.
Yes, that was a bit speculative, wasn't it? Over optimistic on the volley, Jarosik. But once again, a good block from Bakke. He's done well in the midfield today for Aston Villa.
Angel providing a little bit of a different proposition for Martin Taylor in this second half since he's come on. Now Davis. Two Northern Ireland teammates there, Johnson and Davis. Here's the Czech Berger. Back for Bakke. Now Stephen Davis again, left by Moore. He looks lively, Luke Moore. Here he is again. Went for the shot, blocked away by Upson. And as he went for the second ball, he fouled the Birmingham captain. In so doing, Luke Moore looks to have inflicted some damage on himself.
Well, clever skill there from Moore. Good block from Upson. And just as Upson is about to make the clearance, so he's fouled by Moore. And it looks as if he's come off worse.
Well, it's not been a goal fest of a derby, but the 30-odd thousand here packed into St Andrews. Well, it's not been a goal fest of a derby, but the 30-odd thousand here packed into St Andrews this afternoon have had plenty of thrills and spills. Here's Forssell, might fall for Heskey. Heskey does his best to find a way beyond 4 Villa defenders.
A little bit of hesitancy there in the Villa defence, leaving it for one another. Eventually they got the clearance away, but Heskey, with his huge frame, is still causing plenty of problems aerially.
Johnson, Dunn, still Dunn, managed to find a way through for Gray. Yet another Birmingham City corner kick. Surely something has to give before too long. So far the men in claret and blue have withheld everything that is thrown at them. Pennant's corner, away by Angel. Johnson. Heskey now, back out for Pennant. So many blue options in the box, but they didn't really count because Aaron Hughes got the block in. Johnson touched on by Tebily. At full stretch it was Bouma. Now Milner. Moore is offside. He tried to step back and get back onside, but just left himself too much to do.
Taylor did well there, because just as Milner was about to play the ball, he stepped up. There he goes. Good play from the central defender, Martin Taylor, catching the Aston Villa forward offside.
Here's Pennant. Blocked by Milner, back to Mellberg. Foul by Angel on Gray. 15 minutes remain of this 103rd League Second City derby. Villa edging ever closer to the win that has proved so elusive for them in recent years. It's Dunn. Lovely cross by Dunn, but Sorensen had time to come out and gather.
Yes, Dunn wasted no time. One-on-one against James Milner, went past him relatively easy, put it in with his left foot, but just a little bit too close for Sorensen.
Given away by Gray for Angel. Here's Moore now. Berger. Crowded out in the end, and Gray can clear. A chase for Heskey against Mellberg. Heskey has turned Mellberg. It's Emil Heskey looking to get forward. Support comes from Dunn, who tried to pass it in. It looked so promising when Heskey threatened to get away from Mellberg, but it all petered out for Birmingham. Now Davis. Areas of space developing all over the field as the game enters its closing stages. Milner beyond Johnson. Milner's cross, Jarosik takes no chances. He knew Berger was behind him, he didn't know how close.
That was a good deep cross from Milner. I thought Berger should have really come in at the back post and contested it. Jarosik wasn't sure where he was. Took the safety route and played it out on the volley for a corner.
Well, it's a rare Villa corner in this second half. It's been all one-way traffic for Birmingham in that respect. Here's Berger, flick with the outside of his boot, looking for Moore. Away by Forssell, but Birmingham have committed all hands to the defensive pumps. Mellberg swinging cross, and Taylor was caught in no man's land there.
I think Taylor just allowed that to go out of play for a goal kick. I think that was good keeping. Mellberg, just look at the space that he finds himself in. It's not the best of crosses, and Taylor there knew exactly where his position was and allowed the ball to go beyond him for a goal kick.
Away by Ridgewell. Damian Johnson. Given away by Tebily. And by Bakke. Here's Heskey for Dunn. Looking for width on the left, but there isn't any, so he's forced inside. Did very well to find Pennant. Back for Dunn. Still it's Dunn. Can he get the chance? Looks for the penalty kick. Play on, says Graham Poll.
Well, Graham Poe looked at it very, very closely as David Dunn went over. My first impression was that it was a little bit of a theatrical fall from David Dunn. Bouma comes in with a challenge. I don't think he makes contact. Dunn looking for the penalty, goes over, but Graham Poe was nicely positioned.
Well, Wilfred Bouma gave away a penalty kick against Tottenham Hotspur, which was eventually missed by Jermaine Defoe. Not on that occasion, though. Villa's lead still intact, just about. Away by Taylor. Davis threw himself at it. Heskey now for Dunn. Pennant. Good pace to this passing move by Birmingham City, but it all ends up coming to nothing as the final ball is squandered. Pennant. Dunn. Forssell. What a day this would be for him to find his scoring boots again. On by Tebily. It's back with the former Celtic man, a veteran of Old Firm derbies. Is he about to taste defeat in the Birmingham derby for the first time? He's doing his best to make sure that doesn't happen with an energetic burst forward. Away by Mellberg. Upson kept his eye on the ball well.
Well, the pressure's building again. I think that Aston Villa, certainly the management, would like to see them holding the ball up a little bit more in forward areas. In this second half, they've been non-existent as an attacking force. But credit to their back four, because despite the fact there has been plenty of pressure, lots of crosses coming in, there have been very few chances for Birmingham. And that's down to the way that Villa have defended as a back four as a unit.
Jarosik. And came last off Juan Pablo Angel, so Birmingham have the throw. Away by Milner. Luke Moore's the only Villa player inside the Birmingham half, but he did enough to win the throw-in off Martin Taylor.
Yes, he's playing as a lone striker now because Angel appears to be dropping further and further deeper.
Well, there are no more options on the Birmingham City bench. Steve Bruce has made all his changes. Not so David O'Leary, who may well be ready to send on Eric Djemba-Djemba, and perhaps Eric Bakke, who's playing his first Premiership match since, well, certainly for well over a year, will not be able to last quite the 90 minutes. Dunn. Pennant. Pennant's cross to the far post, and Sorensen is equal to it.
Yes, the cross once again to the far post, a little bit too deep, but I think Pennant's entitled to ask where his forwards. At least there should be a challenge on the keeper.
Hughes gets it clear eventually. Now Gray. Upson. On by Mellberg. Jarosik's touch has given it straight to Stephen Davis. Milner and Bakke. Still Djemba-Djemba waits to come on. Forssell. Ridgewell's challenge is effective enough. Ridgewell's challenge is effective enough, and Forssell is forced into fouling the England under-21 international. A yellow card born of frustration. And here comes that Villa change, Djemba-Djemba, who up until today is the only current member of this Aston Villa squad to have had a win here at St Andrews in the Premiership. That is about 7 minutes away from changing. And it's the visiting contingent from 6 miles across the city that are making all the noise here at St Andrews at the moment. The 3 years of taunts and bragging rights that have had blue ribbons on them are about to be joined by some claret ones. In the last 2 seasons since David O'Leary has taken over, Villa have finished up higher on the table, but these are the days that the fans enjoy most. Of the winning side, of course, and at the moment that still remains Villa. Another Pennant corner. Another clearance away, this time by Djemba-Djemba. Back in by Gray. Helped on by Jarosik. And Sorensen just able to recover. Taylor hoped he'd done enough.
It's a good little flick from Jarosik, keeping the pressure on. Hughes with a backward header. Sorensen dives at the feet of Jarosik. Well, it's not totally convincing, the defending, but they're doing their job. As long as you keep a clean sheet, doesn't matter how you do it.
Dunn. Decisive work by Davis. Gray just able to keep it in. Milner. Well, certainly caught by Johnson. Damian Johnson, who's already been sent off this week. And David O'Leary is fuming with that challenge.
Well, it's certainly a reckless challenge from Damian Johnson. There's no real attempt to play the ball. Quite clearly a foul, and probably a yellow card will be sufficient.
What it does serve to do is eat up some valuable minutes. Mellberg. Oh, nearly came for Berger.
Did Angel do well there to out-jump Taylor? The ball fell nicely at the feet of Berger, and this has happened so often this afternoon. The first touch really let him down.
Davis, well, inevitably with fixtures like this there's a lot of talk about bragging rights and which sets of supporters goes home with the smiles on their faces, but let's not remember it's an important contest at the wrong end of the Premiership table. Both these sides only just outside the drop zone. And with Charlton Athletic taking on Fulham, who are below Birmingham City, if Fulham are able to get something tomorrow, then that will take them above Birmingham. And should the scoreline remain like this, it'll take Birmingham into the bottom 3. Villa will pull themselves nicely clear if they can collect the 3 points. Djemba-Djemba. Angel. Johnson allows it to run, and that's to the benefit of Moore. Moore had a hope that he could continue his good scoring form, 2 in his last 2 games for Aston Villa, but it was closed out for him. And Dunn's range just deserted him at the crucial moment.
Well, it's getting to the point now where Birmingham, they may possibly look to try and do something different. They've used all their substitutions, they can't bring anybody off the bench. I just wonder if they'll push one of the big centre-halves into a forward area. Just maybe something different, just to try and unlock this Aston Villa back four, who've defended superbly all afternoon.
Floated forward by Taylor, away powerfully by Mellberg. Back it comes from Johnson. On by the excellent Davis. There have been some outstanding performances for Aston Villa this afternoon. Kevin Phillips will probably get the headlines for scoring the goal, but the young guns out there for Aston Villa have done their manager proud. Energetic displays from Moore, Milner. As we said, Davis has been outstanding. At the back, Ridgewell has done his part. Berger. Four minutes of time added on. Greeted by cheers from the Birmingham section and disbelief from the Aston Villa section of the crowd. Forssell. Gray. Now Dunn. Just trying to be too intricate. Villa are able to spoil again through Milner. Now Angel. He's given it away cheaply. Birmingham throw. Taylor looks for Heskey. Gets the glance on for Forssell. It's Mikael Forssell. Was he fouled? Again, no penalty kick. He got the ball, says Graham Poll. Not the first time Birmingham have had a claim, and not the first time it's been turned down. Heskey, Jarosik.
For me, Bill, not even a doubt. I think that Mellberg took the ball very cleanly. It was a brilliant challenge.
Davis seems to just have endless resources of energy. On by Dunn. Heskey. Now Dunn. Here's Forssell. If in doubt, get it out, and that's what Ridgewell tried to do. Spent a long time in the air, but it's still in play.
That was unselfish running from Luke Moore. That'll be appreciated by the management team. He managed to keep that ball in, coming into a wide area. Now this is the challenge. You see here Mellberg puts his foot there, takes the ball cleanly, and after that Forssell's momentum takes him over the outstretched leg. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. Fair challenge.
A risky one, but one which was supremely executed by the Villa captain. And it's now time to look for things in the corner for Villa. They're that close. Six games without a win before today. It looks like it's going to be lucky 7 for David O'Leary. Milner. Moore. Content to carry it back into the corner. If in doubt, get it out, and that's what Ridgewell tried to do. Spent a long time in the air, but it's still in play.
That was unselfish running from Luke Moore. That'll be appreciated by the management team. He managed to keep that ball in, coming into a wide area. Now this is the challenge. You see here Mellberg puts his foot there, takes the ball cleanly, and after that Forssell's momentum takes him over the outstretched leg. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. Fair challenge.
A risky one, but one which was supremely executed by the Villa captain. And it's now time to look for things in the corner for Villa. They're that close. Six games without a win before today. It looks like it's going to be lucky 7 for David O'Leary. Milner. Moore. Content to carry it back into the corner and look for the corner kick. Dunn up for Forssell. His touch for Heskey. Hughes did enough. Jarosik's header for Emil Heskey. Milner's challenge in vain. Still Jarosik goes. Hughes didn't know too much about the first touch he's got, but it's held up Birmingham. Now Pennant.
Well, this could very well be the last chance. I think Djemba-Djemba's conceded a real unnecessary free kick to Pennant, and it's all about the delivery now from Jermaine Pennant.
Mike Taylor thinks about coming up, but thinks better of it. It's in by Pennant, it's in deep, and Upson couldn't direct it anywhere near the goal.
Yet again, a Birmingham City player unmarked in the opposing penalty box. A free header from Matthew Upson. It's an understatement if I say he should do better, because that ball is almost hit the corner flag.
Well, he's scored some important late equalisers during his football career. And with that Upson header, so goes Birmingham's chance of getting anything from this game, and so goes their dominance of the second City derby. David O'Leary joins in the celebrations. 22 years since the last Villa win in the top flight against their local rivals. Absolute delight for Aston Villa. They've had to wait 3 long years. All those goalkeeping mistakes, all those taunts from across the city. And now, when it finally comes, they mean to enjoy it. A real outpouring of emotion for Thomas Sorensen. It'll mean as much to him as it does to anyone else. It was Kevin Phillips who got the all-important strike. It's Villa's first away win of the season, their first away win since April. And Trevor, in the end, they did just about enough.
Yes, Birmingham huffed and puffed, but they never really created too many clear-cut chances. Plenty of crosses in the box, plenty of free kicks and corners, but you can't really remember a save of any note from Thomas Sorensen. Credit to Aston Villa, they defended very, very well. They had to. There was a lot of pressure, but I think they just about deserved the victory.
Villa victorious in the second City derby. They've come to St Andrews and won by 1-0.